The rain slapped the window pane so hard it sounded like the sky itself was angry. Amma's hands trembled as she stared at the torn photograph in her lap, one of her daughter, Sarah, laughing in the summer sun. It was the only proof Sarah had ever existed. Hook, a mother's silence. When the knock came at midnight, Amma froze beneath her blanket. She knew who it would be. A cold dread hollowed her gut. Outside, footsteps. Heavy, purposeful. She had buried her secret for 6 years. If they found out now, everything would crumble. Yet the truth, silent and unspoken, was about to find her. 2. The characters carved by loss. Amma, once a vibrant photojournalist, full of laughter and light, Amma's world shattered when war swept through her city. She lost more than her home. In one ruthless raid, she lost Sarah, and perhaps more painfully, the memories of what had happened to her. Jeremiah, the kind neighbor, a widower with deep scars of his own. He had discovered Amma unconscious after the soldiers' raid and carried her to safety. He stayed on, watching over her, trying to coax her out of the shadows. But Amma could not reach him, not fully. Sarah, Amma's daughter, only 6 when she vanished among screams and smoke. A child who, if she lived, would now be 12, full of questions, full of longing. Amma could not remember her face well enough. Photographs were blurry, dreams hazy. 3. The unspoken wound. Every night Amma replayed that day in her mind. The flash of light, the crack of bomb, Sarah's scream, then nothing. She'd woken up far away, in a hospital bed. They told her Sarah was gone. They said there was no body, no remains, that she must accept loss. But Amma couldn't. Grief was not something you accept. It was something that consumed you until you were hollow. Amma spent her days caring for Jeremiah's garden, roses, jasmine, elders, and photographing what beauty remained in ruins. But when the shutter clicked, she saw not blossoms, but pieces of Sarah, a petal falling, a child's laughter echoing in an alley. She could sketch the shape of her daughter in shadows, in light, in everything, but always just out of reach. 4. The catalyst. Rumors in the ruins. One cold morning, a radio broadcast crackled in the neighborhood. Reunion Center for Displaced Children has record of a girl, named Sarah Malik, found at age 6, identified in faraway town. The voice hesitated, then added, "If any parents lost their child, please come forward." Amma's breath caught. She dropped her camera, heart pounding. Could it be? Could Sarah, her Sarah, be alive? Jeremiah found her standing in the garden, eyes wide, hearing nothing else. He held her. She wept. Then silence so deep you could hear screams. The search. Across borders, across fear. Jeremiah insisted they go, but the path was dangerous. Roadblocks, past war zones, checkpoints where people vanish without notice. Amma hesitated. What if this was another lie? Another cruel trick? But the chance, however small, was enough. They set out at dawn. Hours bled into days. Amma clutched the photograph and the tattered records she had. Sarah's birth certificate, the last photo, the sketches. Nothing definitive, but enough. They traveled through smoky fields, scarred cities, villages where hope was a rumor. At each checkpoint, Amma dreaded hearing no, or worse, we don't know. Every not here stabbed her heart. Jeremiah held her when she couldn't stand. He shared stories about his own daughter, lost in famine. His strength became anchor. 6. The discovery. A face in the crowd. 20 days later, in a dusty camp behind a crumbling wall, Amma saw a girl selling flowers. The stall was simple, the girl's hands small, cheeks smudged. But the eyes, those deep, searching eyes, they were Sarah's. Amma froze. Memories flooded. Sarah's favorite blue ribbon, the way she slanted her head when she laughed, the jagged scar on her knee from playing in the garden. The girl looked up. Their eyes locked. Amma's breath left her lungs. Jeremiah touched Amma's shoulder. "Go," he whispered. She stepped forward. "Sarah?" she asked, voice broken. The girl flinched. "Mama?" And in that moment, 6 years of silence shattered. Seventh, confrontation with truth. Sarah was changed, timid, guarded. She had no memories of Amma clearly, just dreams of a woman who looked like her mother in hazy light, whose voice sounded distant. She had been rescued by aid workers, moved from camp to camp, never staying more than a few months in one place. She had hope that her mother was looking, waiting somewhere. Amma wept at her daughter's feet. She touched Sarah's face, traced the cheek, the scar from a fall, the curl of hair. Sarah's memories cobbled together. The heat of the day she was lost, the rain, Amma's last word. The truth came in fragments, and both of them ached for what was lost. But at least now they grasped each other. 8. The healing, rebuilding in grace. They returned home. What home could mean now? The city was still scarred, their house a ruin. But Amma began to rebuild, not just walls, but trust, identity, memory. She planted a garden in the rubble. Sarah helped. She planted rose bushes. She learned to photograph the flowers with Amma. Amma taught her to draw, to see beauty even when fragments remain. Jeremiah stayed close, gently fading into the background like family. He became the one who reminds them laughter is possible. Amma opened her heart to create again. She put together an exhibition of war and loss, photos she took when she chased shadows, when she looked for Sarah. But the final piece was not darkness. It was the photo of Sarah at the flower stall, the moment of reunion. She titled the exhibit The Light After Silence. 9. Message, hope beyond the wound. Some wounds never fully heal. Grief doesn't always vanish, but it can become a well of strength, a source of compassion. Amma learned that love isn't only holding a child, but holding a space for memory, for the possibility, for the courage to walk through ruins in search of truth. Sarah learned to speak her story. Amma learned that silence can be broken, not in a moment, but in steps, small, painful, but steps toward healing. X. Ending. Dawn after long night. On the day of the exhibit's opening, rain fell again. But this time Sarah stood beside Amma, holding her hand. The audience listened as Amma's voice trembled. This is our story, not just of loss, but of finding. Not just of pain, but of perseverance. Sarah released a rose into the wind. Petals drifted through the air, pink, white. Light broke through gray clouds, and in that light, Amma saw her daughter's laughter again. She felt peace, not because the past was gone, but because love had returned. Life may steal much from us, but even in the darkest night, somewhere, someone is looking, waiting. And when we keep walking, through fear, through grief, our hearts can find the light again. If you'd like, I can adapt this story to match the exact tone or visuals of that video in your title, once I can access its content. Do you want me to shape it more closely?